Hey guys, it's Tarkin coming at you with another game of Minecraft. Really, it's just wheat. We need some wheat seeds. As you can clearly tell, we don't really have enough wheat right now. You can have enough. It's been explained to me that it's possible to have enough, but I currently don't have enough. And we're gonna work on that, you know. We're gonna go down this very clumsily crafted row where by long tradition we get our wheat. Good morning, Coolio. Good morning, Thomas. Wheat, indeed. But yeah. I just had a little bit of time before I have to head off to work, so I figured I'd steal it away from the world and turn that time into wheat. Like a sort of like wheat-related alchemy. For if time is a function of gravity, so too must wheat be. But we just need to get, like, you know, an inventory of wheat seeds. We probably won't need too much more than that. Yes, it is morning here. It is 9 in the morning here, and in one of the lands of freedom. I'm happy to report that there are many lands of freedom on the planet, but this is certainly one of them. And man, oh man, do we sure forget that other places are proud of who they are too. That's not the topic of conversation. Good morning! Yeah, Coolio, we knocked out White Palace last night. So I was talking to my buddy at work, who Hollow Knight's his favorite game, and I was like, oh, I quit. And then, you know, he was like, is there a boss you couldn't beat? I was like, there's no boss I can't beat. You know why I quit. And he's like, oh, the White Palace. But then he explained the Hive Blood charm. So after some fits and starts just like trying to find our way in. I mean, it was fine. I didn't get mad. I was lost. But then we went and got Hive Blood, and of course, with regenerating hit points, it's not so hard to get through. I guess we were in the very last segment. Because there's like the segment where you go up, you know, there's the right and the left switches, and then there's the top switch to open the door, and then to the right, that's like the last one there. So like the fourth of the interior segments. And I guess we were right there, but you know, without getting my HP back, there's no telling how long it would have taken. Ah, Yoshi's Pizza Guy, good morning. And yes, indeed, it is wheat. It is wheat o'clock here. And you might be asking, like, given that you farm in this wheat field, why don't you just, like, fix it up a bit so that it's not, like, a mess of the terraces? Well, historical reasons. So while some parts of this specific part of the wheat field were, like, covered over because there used to be little chasms, you know, little holes in the ground or whatever, and there used to be trees here and stuff, by and large, all of the ridges of the land in this whole area are as they were before I came here. Not this part. There used to be a bunch of, like, land here. I cut that down for my canal. It's one of the first things I ever built. And I ruined all of this water because I didn't know how water physics work. But, you know, so it's... Even though it would be easier to farm the wheat if we'd made the field differently, you know, we gotta keep it that way. The field for efficient wheat farming is over here. It's all in straight lines. Of course, we've already recently taken the wheat from it, which is why we're here at the... what we call the old field. The traditional field. The field of seeds, if you will. And even if you won't. You gotta do your similar PowerPoint over because your hard disk dies. Oh no, that is awful. I feel for you, man. What's this one called? Okay. This is the thing in Sweden. It's very reminiscent of a couple of songs from like this 16-bit era. In like, there's one on the Chrono Trigger soundtrack that, I mean, it's probably just like similar sort of instrumentation. It may not even be like anything around it, but it always brings it to mind. This song's real good. It is probably one of the very famous Minecraft songs. Probably most Minecraft people can identify it from listening, but I know almost none of their names. Unless it's on a disc. Or is called Alpha. Which, again, I can't identify early, but I always know after a little while. I'm like, oh, it's the song I like. Not really that exclusionary of a description when it comes to the Minecraft soundtrack. Most of them are songs that I like. Most of them. But I guess we can go mend up real quick. It's like, it's a survival world for the purposes of planting wheat or using things, but it's a I fly through the world when it comes to moving from one place to another place on the course of doing this. This one is called So Below. It is a Lenarain track. Unless it's pronounced Lena. You know, I'm super bad at pronouncing words. As I often relate, you know, I'm from the American South where everybody talks just like me. And so I don't know. I don't know how to speak correct English. Or as we do say here, I don't know how to talk right. Only you say it with the accent. I don't feel like doing it. Look, I'm from around here. I can do the accent if I want. But whenever I was a little kid, I decided that I didn't really want. Next time we'll play, we're going to go down to the abyss. Probably. Yeah, I already had like that worked out. At least I generally, because it's like the place you're born in the little pool of things. So, you know, whenever I read the flavor text on it or whatever, you know, the birthplace opened or whatever, I was like, oh, okay, that's where it means. Either that or the Temple of the Black Egg, because that's, you know, an egg's sort of like a birthplace too. More than sort of, it's literally like a birthplace. Yes, the Mending Fields. And, you know, right here, all of the cows, yeah, it's only 1,300 cows. We definitely got to get more in there. I mean, these are rookie numbers. We're going to have to pump these numbers way up. The ziggurat, the monument to the fallen, still standing there. Still with uneven numbers of layers in the construction, because I cannot plan things ahead of time. I don't mean to brag, but I forget all the time in Minecraft if you even want even or odd numbers of stuff. I'm like, oh, well, if we have an odd number and then we take the thing in the middle and put an even number of stuff in it, then it'll be odd numbers. But, so if we get 3 doors or 1 door, then we're just going to go over here and plant. It's a nice place to plant wheat at. And we can look out into the distance and see the Great Library, or rather the Merely Good Library, for that's its actual name. The Great Library is going to be underneath that island. There's a whole plan for it. I got it worked out, I just haven't done any work on it. I've got 7,000 bookshelves, though, so. With, you know, probably enough materials for many more on the way. Missed a spot on the hill slope. Oh no! Sometimes like a sheep will go through, or worse, a wandering trader. I know on on the side of the mountain of wheat that there's like a sheep that ran down it a little bit and messed up a bunch of it. But, you know, we'll... Look, I already don't like sheep. It's a whole thing. It is a whole thing. But we're not telling that story today. That's for the million subscriber special. And we're saving that one. But when they ruin my wheat field, I'm like, that's going in the book. The Great Book of Grudges is getting another edition, and it is this sheep for my wheat field. Because you could sort of level out land, but it's prettier if you do it this way. And especially if you don't need to, you know, farm this particular wheat, you just need it to grow, you know, for the beauty and the wonder of it all, then it's good to leave things as they are, in my opinion. But if you just trim out like a couple of the outcroppings of the land, like if you were to trim like this whole section off, then you would have like a bunch of pretty straight lines to go with, right? Same for this. You get rid of this, and then all of a sudden, rather than having to go around a bunch of things, you have these nice straight lines. However, you know, you lose a lot of the natural beauty of the place. And you're already doing a lot of natural beauty destruction by burning down all the trees and killing all the grass and eliminating the chickens and, you know, all of that kind of thing. Speaking of eliminating the chickens, since I read that there's 5 times as much damage on the shovel and the pickaxe. We can hit them with those tools instead. But yeah, we'll probably be back for more Hollow Knight tonight, but well, it's Geometry Sundash, so we're gonna do at least a couple hours, probably like 2, maybe 3 hours. So Geometry Dash, depending on how my hands feel. Just get cracking on Club Step again. See if we can do any better. We probably can't. And then do a few requests or whatever. Cause yes, indeed. Happy Geometry Sundash, because I know a bunch of people like it. I had way more fun with Geometry Dash whenever I wasn't as experienced, right? When the levels were easier and I was worse. Now the levels are harder and I'm still pretty bad. But man, oh man, the levels can get so hard. My conception of what was possible is just like gradually broadened into being absurd when it comes to Geometry Dash. And then like I'll watch someone just like casually do a level that I would swear is difficult. There being like 9 circles like I beat, you know, Can't Let Go. Except I'd probably die right now if I tried to beat Can't Let Go. Alicia said it's a big farm. Oh, yes it is. Have you seen it before? Here, let me show off a little bit. So this is just this little island, right? But then we've got, you know, there's more. All we see is wheat, of course. This is all wheat. I mean, some are trees, but mainly wheat. It's mainly just wheat, you know. And then, you know, we have this side of it as well, and it goes on. Beyond the mist and the clouds, there's more wheat there. I said I was going to show off. We're really just showing some of it. Anyway, there's not so much wheat that we couldn't go over it in a minute or three. But yeah, I got a lot. Says pretty cool. Thank you. I sure think so. I'm glad you agree. You know, you just start getting a wheat collection one day, and before you know it, you've got more than you would have thought reasonable, and certainly more than you ever realized you could do. You know, when people told me I should play Minecraft someday, they didn't even say, you can plant wheat there. It wouldn't have even been a selling point. It's not even like my thing. There's plenty of games where you can plant wheat, and I never got into it. It's not as pretty. I think that's the problem. Other games, it's not as pretty. Because here you have, like, the contrast with the ocean and the sky, and the yellows fading into the greens as they grow. Like, it's really nice. The wheat's good. Someone was like, you should try to plant potatoes or carrots or beetroots, which, like, they're fine. I've got some. Before I realized, like, how good wheat was, I used to plant them. But they're just not as pretty. They don't have as good of a PR team. They already started Minecraft. This is a peaceful world anyway. I literally don't need the wheat for anything. But I need the wheat for more wheat seeds so that I can plant more wheat. When I started this field, I didn't even know that villagers ate bread. And I certainly didn't need bread. It was a long time ago when I started. Well, not a long time. Not for Minecraft. Because, like, I only started playing Minecraft, like 15 months ago, something like that. 14? What even is time? Anyway, less than a year and a half. So I've been planting this field for slightly more than a year. Not like every day, right? I would have so much more. Because we've planted 316,000 wheat seeds. But of course, many of those we've had to uproot and plant again. But I think we could just survive on the seeds if we had to. No, there aren't that many wheat seeds. They're all turned into wheat. Speaking of Don't Starve, I should play Don't Starve someday. I used to know somebody who played it all the time whenever I was first starting my YouTube channel, but I just like never really picked it up beyond like 10 minutes for one day to humor them. But I bet it'd be cool. I don't know if you could farm wheat and Don't Starve. I know you can try not to starve though. But the game might just annoy me. It might be one of those where there's too many rules. Like you're supposed to do things a certain kind of way. I don't know. Maybe it's more freeform than all that. And you're given the freedom to starve in creative ways. Don't Starve. It was like a survival crafting game. It must have come out in like 2012 or 2013, right around there. I think it was a little new. It was it wasn't like a super smash hit, but I believe it was pretty popular. If you know the video game Terraria, there's a couple tie-ins from Don't Starve in there. The Deer Clops is a character from Don't Starve, and then the Summon Flower Abigail, I'm told, is also in Don't Starve. I'm not like a Terraria expert. I've only got like 50 hours into it, and I'm very bad. But yeah, so it's not like it's not so minor that it doesn't show up, you know, in other beloved properties. It was like a pretty big deal whenever it was happening. But yeah, it's just like a little top-down thing, and yeah, you survive and you craft, and there's, you know, a light cycle, and the monsters come out when it gets dark, that kind of thing. But I have like a special delight in playing sandbox games wrong. I don't know what it is about me that just wants to always play them wrong, but I do. I'm like, oh, this is a game where you're supposed to go underwater. That annoys me, so I'm gonna build a base on top of an island and then quit, you know, that kind of thing. This game wants me to not starve, so I'm never gonna get food, you know, like an idiot. Coolio, you say there's technically no wrong way to play a sandbox. You never watch me play Subnautica. I definitely played that wrong. In Subnautica, after just a bit of, I mean, like, not like a small amount of play, but just a bit of doing things, we found that one island, and then I was like, okay, we're just gonna set up here. So I set up like water filtration machines in a base, and then I set up a bunch of grow things. I'm like, okay, now I win. We're not going back in the water again. Everybody who goes into the water dies. Like I said, I did it wrong. But narratively, I did the practical thing. And as I said at the time, and I stand by it, there are, like, technical flaws with the way the story in Subnautica is presented. Just like it is, from a storytelling perspective, they did it wrong. Because it's like, they want you to go a bunch of places, but they don't tell you that you have to. And they tell you that everyone who tries to do it dies. And then they tell you, if these people would have stayed here, they would have kept all their stuff. And then they tell you, these people went under the earth, under the water, and they went insane and died. And then you read a thing that's like, man, we could have stayed here if we just had enough stuff to build the materials. So, you know, build the materials, stay on the island, win. I mean, I went into the water some, and I didn't have the idea that I should never go into the water again until that island happened. And then I was like, oh, I've got these grow beds now. We don't need to be in the water. We can stay on a tropical island with delicious, healthy fruits where none of the baddies come out of the water. None of them. And the crabs are gone once you stab them. Yeah, so I was like, okay, I win. I don't think we ever went under 300 meters. Because the game wouldn't let me, you know? It's like, if you do this, you'll blow up your ship. And I'm like, okay, whatever, I just won't go. And that is how to play a sandbox wrong. People say you can't do it. I don't mean to brag, but they're just not as creative as I am. If they were creative like me, they could play anything wrong. But no, there was a quest text on Subnautica that was badly done, and it made me very angry, and that basically sealed the deal for the game. It was always on its way out. I was just waiting for an excuse. 'Cause they did what I consider to be an unforgivable sin in video game quest development. Which is when they tell you you need items to complete a quest, but they don't tell you all of the items, and you spend hours looking for diamonds for a laser cutter, and you spend hours trying to get the stuff so you can complete the quest that's on the ship that seems like a logical place to go, and then you find out that you need a third item that they do not list anywhere in the quest or imply anywhere in the quest in order to progress. And anyway, it's bad. It's bad development, and they should feel bad. Tell them I said that if you know them. And then, on the back of my feelings about that, we eventually discovered the island, and I realized there was a way for me to really turn the screws to their flawed storytelling by quitting the game. That'll show them, I said. That'll show these people who no doubt have made millions off of this millions selling indie darling. They'll really be sorry now that I think their game isn't very good. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It was a fun game. It was just flawed from a narrative perspective in a way that I found unacceptable. Some people can just go past that. I can't. Or at least I am unwilling to. I can do anything. What's the Shakespeare line? I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none. You played Subnautica, you didn't leave spawn. That's smart too. Because again, the game does a very, very bad job of convincing you that you should play it. A very bad job. Mechanically, it's fine. The mechanics of the narrative, however, are not fine. They are fatally flawed. Because they take a person who should be trying to survive and say, put yourself into ridiculous mortal danger, and we're not going to tell you why. We're not going to tell you you even have to do it. There's not going to be a ticking clock on the wall that says, go here or something bad will happen. There's nothing. It's just, if you get bored doing the only logical thing, which is living, then you can do very dumb things like go underwater where you can't breathe around monsters. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And a game should make sense. Internally, it should make sense. It's not like, oh, it doesn't make sense because he, his muscles wouldn't be good enough at swimming or whatever. I think they hand-wave that away with a diary entry about you being a good swimmer. It's not important. The point is, there's no point in the game where it makes it seem like it's smart to go a kilometer underwater, and yet the game probably wants you to. I'm done talking about Subnautica, though. Like I said, I played it wrong. There's a way to play it wrong, and I did. I don't know. Maybe games like that I'm meant to play with other people, although I don't think Subnautica is multiplayer. Because if somebody else, cares about whatever dumb thing that doesn't make sense inside of the game, I could just, follow them around and let them, have the ideas of what we want to do. Yeah, it's very badly designed. That you crash land and you see a spaceship in the distance. You're like, okay, maybe we can go there, maybe there are survivors, blah, blah, blah. Well, your first obstacle is that it's irradiated, so you've got to get a radiation suit. Okay, that's fine. One obstacle to getting to the ship. And then there's a big scary monster guarding it. That's fine too, that's totally okay. The game gives you ways to evade it, and there's a big scary monster. But then you get there, And you need tools that you've never seen before in order to progress. And they give you a list of 2 of them, but you need a 3rd one. And you don't even need the laser cutter until you get the repulsion cannon, which they don't tell you that you need. So the only logical place to go in the game doesn't work 2 times in a row based on the information that you're given. And even when you go there with the 2 items that the quest tells you you'll need in order to look at the ship, it doesn't say, oh, you'll need a 3rd one. There's just nothing. You just can't do anything. You put out a fire and the fire starts. You walk around with your laser cutter like an idiot. It's badly designed. It doesn't make sense. It's like they thought people were just gonna look up on the internet what to do, so they didn't bother with any internal logic. But I have a strong opinion about games that rely on the player to look things up. They're bad. They're all bad. It is a bad game design. Because if it's going to make you explore around until you find a 3rd thing and it doesn't want to tell you about it, just don't give you a quest. Just don't give you a quest to get the stuff to explore the ship. Say, what we have now won't get through, we'll have to get more things somehow. But they don't do that. They say, get X and Y. Anyway, it's bad, and they should feel bad. If you see the Subnautica guys, tell them I got a bone to pick. Because, like, I have no respect for my own time, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna let some gaming company disrespect it, right? Just because my life isn't worth very much to me, I'm not gonna let them treat me like it's worthless. Hello, Stop supporters. Indeed, wheat. There in the distance we see wheat. Here before us we see wheat. And actually it looks like it's about to be to the end of the video, so why don't we just fly over the wheat real quick. Here, of course, we see the mountain of wheat. Overlooking Wheat Park. And, of course, the other side of the mountain of wheat. The new field there in the distance. The old field here before. And see, I told you we used to plant like some beetroot and carrots and potatoes and stuff. That's over here. That was these fields. We never come here anymore. Now it's all just wheat. I just wish it was all wheat over here too, but I don't have enough yet. We just have this mountain where the Temple of Wheat should be built. But it isn't. It waits for one day me to live up to my promise and finally build something in Minecraft. But yeah, that's the wheat field. It doesn't look like much, but it's all mine. There's the village with the merely good library. Librarian likes to hang out on top of it, you know, as one does. But yeah, that's wheat. Are they stuck over here? Like, I have such an opinion about villagers. So they ran all over that to ruin the wheat, all to get stuck right there. I have an opinion. Not gonna share it. I'm gonna keep it to myself. Never should have come here. Anyway, the army of golems is trampling out the grain. But there we have it. Wheat. You know, I imagine one day everybody will have a wheat field like this in Minecraft, that they'll see like the philosophical and spiritual benefits of planting a lot of wheat. I believe that. And even if that's not true, it's alright to believe things that aren't true. Billions of people do it every day, and they mainly find it helpful. So, you know, I think one day everyone in the world will plant wheat in Minecraft, and that'll bring us all together. Before we go, it's time for your Marcus Aurelius. This is one I've probably shared before. It's a big favorite, but this is Meditations, Book 8, number 20. Nature is like someone throwing a ball in the air, gauging its rise and arc, and where it will fall. And what does the ball gain as it flies upward, or lose when it plummets to earth? What does the bubble gain from its existence, or lose by bursting? And the same for a candle. And here Marcus reminds us to remember the nature of things, as he often does. But that's all I've got for you today. I've got to get off to work. I'll be back in several hours for Geometry Sundash and some other gaming through the day. Perhaps I will see you there. If not, have an excellent rest of your day. If you're watching in the future, I hope the weather is nice. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Thomas. Later. Bye, Coolio. Bye, Alicia. Bye, Schlep. Appreciate you all giving the wheat field a shot. If you haven't been here before, I play a variety of games. It's not only wheat on the channel, but, you know, I play some other stuff here and there, and maybe I'll see you in a future stream or video. But anyway, see you guys.